Good morning, good afternoon, guys. We're back for another Geek Tavern. As always, it's me, Shawn. I'm joined by Mike.
Hello.
And Aaron.
It's spooky season.
That is spooky season. We will be talking about my recommendations this time. The Nightmare Before Christmas and Corpse Bride. So let's just jump right into The Nightmare Before Christmas. Spoilers for this movie that came out 28 years ago.
It took me 28 years to see it.
Directed by Henry Selick. I don't know if he's directed anything else. Unfortunately,
James and the Giant Peach.
Yeah, his production company, Skellington Animations, went bankrupt into insolvency after the release of James and the Giant Peach,
which is just a damn shame.
It really is. I haven't looked it up. I should have looked it up before we started this, but obviously, there's still companies doing this type of animation, and there always seem to be scary movies for some reason,
because it's a little unsettling.
Well, you have Leica.
Yeah,
you had Aardman at one point, but I don't think that they do anything anymore. They did a movie a couple years ago. It was like
Kubo
Cavemen. No, Kubo is like
The Croods.
No, it was an Aardman movie, and it was like the last thing that they ever did.
Box Trolls.
No.
Oh, I think
Maybe. I don't know. I'll have to look.
I know what you're talking about. I can see it now. Yeah.
But
I have no idea what it's called.
Yeah, I don't. I remember seeing the trailer and I was like, "Oh, they finally did something."
The Missing Link.
Was it like year?
That's also
year something. Year.
No, you're thinking of Year One.
Yeah.
Which is Jack Black and Michael Cera.
Okay. Yeah, but I thought it was something to do with
It is Cavemen.
Yeah.
But I don't know what it is. But it's the Wallace and Gromit, the Aardman Animation Studio.
Yeah, those are the only people doing it anymore.
And Phil Tippett. Tippett still does it because he just did a horror movie thing.
Oh yeah,
yeah,
that's cool.
But I don't think anybody watched it.
But
which is a shame. Because Phil Tippett led the charge with stop motion animation in feature films.
But getting back to the movie, Halloween. Is it a Halloween movie or a Christmas movie? You decide.
This is Halloween.
In my opinion,
Christmas movie?
Huh?
Is Die Hard a Christmas movie?
Well, some would argue yes, some would argue no. I would argue that this is a Halloween movie because it seems more like a Halloween movie to me.
I mean, you start out in Halloween Town.
Yeah. You only really have 2 scenes of Christmas time.
Well, actually, do we know when it takes place? Because they're specifically in Halloween Town, so it's therefore always Halloween.
Well, the beginning of the movie happens on Halloween night.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then
the rest of the movie is them preparing for next Halloween. But the movie literally takes place between Halloween and Christmas.
Yeah.
Okay.
So there's a span of time in between there that they're preparing for Christmas.
Anybody that always watches knows that I'm going to be completely forgetful on everything because I've only seen it the one time.
Honestly, the plot in this movie is just kind of a little bit confusing.
Okay.
I mean, it's not really that confusing. We follow our main character, Jack Skellington. He's going through he doesn't really have a lifespan, but he's going through a crisis of his occupation. Yeah. He's lived the same night over and over again, preparing for Halloween. And, obviously he loves doing it, but he wants something more. He's dejected. The movie begins with him just wandering off into the woods and stumbling.
Bumbling to himself, something about, it'll be the same thing next year as it was 3 years ago, or whatever he says,
And he stumbles upon this magical tree forest of holiday-themed trees. And he falls.
I wanted him to go to the St. Patty's Day one.
Yeah. He would have just come home drunk,
right?
Giving everyone their beer.
And he falls into the Christmas one, and he gets rejuvenated by the Christmas spirit, I guess. And then he wants to be like Santa Claus, but they call him Sandy Claus because
I loved his explanation to the town of Santa Claus.
And they want to prepare for Christmas, but obviously it's all fucked up because that's all they know is Halloween and scary. So they're making Christmas, but it's all fucked up and
he even
really
takes
not right.
He even takes the the Christmas music and tells the band how what to play it in.
He plays it in the correct key, but they all play it in minor keys.
Well, yeah, because they're
minor chords.
Yeah, they don't know any other way or whatever. As a musician, I thought that part was specifically funny. I don't know.
The music is obviously really great in this movie. I think it still holds up after 28 years.
So I can't remember.
I have complaints about the lyrics.
Yeah, the lyrics are a little strange.
Lyrics are lackluster. The music itself is some of Danny Elfman's best work.
I don't remember what song specifically, but I remember thinking that.
The lyrics didn't make.
Yeah, the lyric. I was like, the music's great, but the lyrics are
nothing. I don't want to sound stupid, but half of them didn't rhyme, and I was like half.
It might have been something like
that. Yeah, half the songs he's trying to rhyme lines.
Yeah.
And then half of it's just it's just spoken word at that point.
Some
background music.
Some musicians do that. Yeah. I don't like that either.
I didn't much care for it.
But,
I feel like in a vein of Disney movies, it's kind of those songs are more forgettable lyrically than a lot of others that came out around.
I felt, again, only seeing it once, I felt that This Is Halloween and what's the one where he's in Christmas?
What's this?
I thought those were
those are the two that are probably most
maybe that's why I felt
referenced to.
Yeah. Because
they're good. Those are the two that I would say are the best.
Believe it or not, I'd never actually heard This Is Halloween.
Okay.
That's when I realized that other song I showed you guys that I was like, oh, that's a spoof on that. But What's This was in the trailer, that I always seen as a kid. So I knew that one.
I think my favorite songs, obviously, I think most of the songs are great. My favorite songs are Sally's song and Oogie Boogie's song. I think his song's excellent.
Those ones are good.
I immediately forgot the rest, is what I was going to say. Those first two were pretty memorable.
Yeah.
But the other ones I instantly forgot.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, those two songs are the most revered from the movie. But yeah, both those songs are still very good too.
I also really like whenever he's explaining Christmas to the town and he has that song.
Yeah,
that's one of the ones that I didn't care for.
Oh, really?
I thought that the lyrics worked the best.
I remember liking that one.
Or the kids' song whenever they're talking about kidnapping Santa Claus.
Yeah,
that was a decent one.
Yeah, but there are a few musical choices that I'm like, why?
Yeah, it's a little strange.
Because there are things that he says, and I'm like, you could have easily just rhymed that with something else like this, and it would have worked just the same. But it was just kind of he didn't want to, or I don't know. I've never listened to Oingo Boingo, so I really don't know how they flow lyrically. Maybe they do the same exact thing. I don't know.
I think I like Oogie Boogie's song the most just because it's a jazz song.
Do you think that Oogie Boogie was named after Oingo Boingo?
No.
That's a play on it, or
is Oogie Boogie your favorite version of the Boogeyman in media?
It's an interesting version.
Yeah.
It definitely is.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Boogeyman. That's who he is. He's the Boogeyman. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
He's the Oogie Boogeyman.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I did remember that. I guess.
I mean, he's kind of.
He's
kind of fucking scary.
When I was a kid,
a burlap sack with bugs in him.
Yeah, he's just giant. He's basically the Men in Black character. But whenever I was a kid, that terrified me the most. It's all the insects crawling out of him, and also the doctor that opens up his head to scratch his brain. I don't like that at all.
The great uncle from Christmas Vacation.
Yeah.
I with what you said there, parts of it being scary as a kid, that's probably why I didn't search this movie out, because I wouldn't have watched it as a kid.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, as an adult, it's not really there are scary parts, but it's not.
I mean,
it's not this is scary to me.
There's a couple things that I was like, that was a little unsettling.
Yeah, definitely wouldn't like that as a kid.
Yeah. But that's kind of the mindset I was thinking of. I was like, yeah, I wouldn't watch this as a kid.
I mean, I watched this probably when I was like 9 or 10 for the first time. And I liked it. I liked it enough. But like I've said before, I appreciate the movie more for what went into making it.
Yeah.
Because I've done that stuff before, and I know how painstaking it is to do it.
Right.
And I think I just more appreciate the work and time and effort that everyone put into it.
Yeah.
Because that movie was a nightmare to make.
I'm sure it was, yeah.
If you ever watched
that's why this fucking company went bankrupt, because they're so difficult to make.
You guys should watch the movies that made us, because this movie is on there and they talk about what kind of production hell they went through.
Yeah.
Like this, we may have talked about it a little bit when we did James and the Giant Peach, but these characters are Tim Burton's. Mm. The movie is not Tim Burton's whatsoever.
Right.
They call it Tim Burton's because he designed these characters when he worked at Disney. So they kept his name on there and gave him basically royalty fees for it. But he had nothing to do with the production of this movie. It was all Henry Selick, his company, under the production of Disney. And yeah,
I'm gonna start being that asshole that corrects everybody, because everybody's like, "Oh, that's my favorite Tim Burton movie."
Yeah,
it's not Tim Burton.
He has no involvement aside from the conception of these, which is funny whenever you think about it, because I'm sure Disney ousted Tim Burton. It's like, oh, I was a Disney Imagineer. Oh, what did you make? These terrifying creatures. It's like, yeah, that's not very on brand for Disney, bro.
I'm pretty sure that's why. I think, if I'm not mistaken, part of that documentary is talking about how he was let go from Disney because his ideas did not mesh with what they wanted to make.
Yeah,
they make a joke about that in American Dad. One of the characters is like a mountain man that lives in the woods, and he comes into town, and it's a story arc. But anyway, it's like he has this fantastic haunted house every Halloween, and he has a car that has a goblin on the front, and is it's this most terrifying shit. And it's like, Buckle, what are you doing? He's like, oh, I used to be a Disney Imagineer before they fired me for having too verbose ideas. And it's just these haunting imagery.
I mean, I think that's exactly what happened. Yeah. Which is why when you said that, I was like, oh, I'm almost certain that that's why he was let go.
It most certainly is why, because I'm surprised. And it's funny because this property is I'm sure one of the most profitable IPs that Disney has had, at least 20 years ago.
There's a whole storefront at Disney.
Yeah,
well, think about just from working in Walmart. Every time we get the Halloween stuff in, there's always something Nightmare Before Christmas. Mm-hmm. And it's crazy because there's been one movie.
Yeah,
that's it. Which is crazy.
Yeah, unfortunately, I keep bringing it up, but obviously we need to talk about it because that's what happened. But the company went bankrupt. It would have been great to see sequels of this movie where Jack, well, maybe not Jack, but other characters go to the different
Jack
holiday
and
worlds.
Sally's son drops into Easter land or something.
Because I don't think you could have
St. Patty's Day fan.
The Nightmare Before St. Patty's Day. That just sounds like a horror comedy.
Yeah, they reference Easter Bunny whenever the kids kidnap the Easter Bunny by accident. But I don't think Jack. From a story perspective, it would have worked with Jack because he gets over his hump at the end of the movie after they shoot him out of the fucking sky. But he lands
with literal
missiles.
Artillery. Yeah.
But he's like, oh, I guess they didn't want me, but I'm reinvigorated with the Halloween spirit. It'll be twice as better next time. So obviously he's back on track being the Pumpkin King. But so his him traveling to these different holidays probably wouldn't have worked. But I'm sure they could have figured something out. I think it would have been great to have seen something like that.
No, he became a pirate, remember?
Yeah, he's the pirate. Jack Skellington is the pirate.
Yeah, in I think we did touch upon this in James and the Giant Peach, but his character model is used as the skeletal pirate when Richard Dreyfuss's character goes in to get the compass out of the sunken pirate ship.
I thought you were making a Jack Sparrow joke for a second.
No. Although that is, again, on brand because it's Johnny Depp's.
Yeah,
another
exactly.
Tim Burton favorite.
Yeah.
But, we were making jokes about Tim Burton, Johnny Depp, Helena Bonham Carter things, and we were like, okay, name this movie. It's a Tim Burton produced movie starring Johnny Depp and Helena Bonham Carter. Oh, you gotta be fucking kidding. Can you give me another hint? Music by Danny Elfman. Another hint. It also has Christopher Lee. Are you fucking joking?
Well, it narrows it down to about 4 movies.
Yeah.
I have multiple choice.
Yeah, exactly.
Sure. Or is it all of the above?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
I will say one thing about the story. At the end of the movie, whenever Jack and Sally get together and they sing a song about how it's like obvious that they're supposed to be together, it's like
it's her song. It's
Yeah.
a continuation.
Yeah.
It's a reprisal of her song.
but it's like that isn't really earned for me. Like obviously Sally's
he
trying
barely
to
gave it the time of
Yeah,
day
exactly.
in the movie. Like they barely interacted like at
like
all.
obviously
Well,
she
thanks for
has
saying
her-
that because at the end I was like,
Fuck's he getting with her?
that's
for?
what
Yeah.
everybody's like obsessed with.
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
Jack and Sally.
Yeah.
I
I
don't
Yeah,
see
Blink
it.
182 sang about it. Damn it. You know.
obviously like we know Sally's feelings for Jack. Like those are
Yeah,
obvious, and
right,
like,
right.
those are communicated well.
Yes.
But obviously, like, why would Jack reciprocate those at all toward her? Because, as you said, Aaron, whenever it's like, "Oh, make me my Santa Claus suit," and it's like, "That's all that I want from you," pretty much.
Yeah, no, there was like absolutely zero like interest exchanged.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, it
Also, like,
boggles the mind.
is she supposed to be like a psychic or something? Because she has the vision of the Christmas tree lighting on fire.
Was it a vision or did it happen?
Well, she says like, "I saw this." It's like I have a bad
I
feeling,
thought it was
a
a
premonition.
dream. Yeah.
Or something like that. That's why she's trying to warn him about, like, don't
Yeah.
do this.
Yeah, she's trying to like. There's a lot of like the concept is great, but I think there's a lot that's kind of lost because, and again, production hell, so probably crunch for time, not able to actually do the things that you want to do with it, and because I'm pretty sure they went over budget and over time because they wanted to get it out at a certain point in time, and they're like, we are not going to be done.
Well, that's the thing about this movie. You could release it technically at Halloween time or Christmas time
Yeah.
or any time in between that 3-month window because
Yeah.
some people...
I mean, start it right at Halloween and run it until
Mhm.
I'm pretty
Christmas.
sure one of the animators said that they did absolutely nothing but drink coffee and animate for like 3 or 4 days straight. Because they were trying to get like scenes done in time and finished and ready to go.
I mean, it's a painstaking process.
It is.
Yeah.
So, little tangent here, but I love this shit and I want to talk about it. I've loved stop motion animation ever since watching the 1933 King Kong. And for those of you who don't know what stop motion animation is, it's a little bit different now. But back in the day, and especially making this movie, stop motion is 24 frames a second. That is move, snap picture, move, snap picture for 24 frames to equal 1 second of movement for that character. You're not just moving that part though. You're moving the head. You're moving the leg. You
Oh,
gotta
yeah.
like keep track of all of that stuff. Like it's the same shit that they did in Empire Strikes Back with the AT-AT walkers, the ATSTs, stuff like that. Like it is painstaking. Like people could probably watch the movie and be like, "Oh, that looks so fake," and it's like, "Yeah,
Like the
well,
Terminator.
you try doing it."
Yeah.
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 Yeah, like, and it's it's one of those things where it's like you try doing that and imagine like.
That's where their ignorance comes in.
Yeah.
People just don't know.
No, and that's why I wanted to bring it up, is
Yeah.
because, like, people can be like, oh, Nightmare Before Christmas, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, yeah, okay, but think about what went into it. Like, nowadays, 32 frames per second is the standard.
Mhm.
But for a while, it was 24 frames a second,
Right.
which is a hell of a lot easier to animate 24 frames a second. Looks a little choppy, but still is the easier.
Yeah,
of
it's
the
still
two.
like literally 32 or 24 pictures for one fucking second.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So, like, Leica does it at 32 frames a second. But you also think about their movies and how smooth the animation quality looks, and you're like, They spent years. Like, that's why Leica releases a movie like once every 5 to 7 years, because that's how long they're working on that production for.
Yeah.
Like, it is like the original King Kong took like 3 years to make. So
I still haven't watched that.
I'm sure. I mean, that terrified people back in the day because it was the 30s, and that's just how it was.
Yeah, and it was kind of like, before then all they did was like dinosaur stop motion with the armatures. They never did anything like a gorilla, and especially like with the fur on it and everything, which is tricky because when Willis O'Brien was animating him, you would see the fur like get matted or whatever, and they played it off as they're like, oh, it's the wind from the cave coming in, like it's just like rustling his fur.
Yeah,
which works. It works.
You can see that a little bit in this movie too, like you can see like pieces of the clothing, just like obviously
moving just very
slightly. Or like a thumbprint in like one scene, and then whatever. But I love like it's obvious like with the mayors specifically, like he has like the detachable mouth that they can like change, and it has different shapes so that he talks.
Jack had like 16 different heads, one for each like vowel or like mouth movement, so that when he was doing his singing, they had to like swap out this head for this head, this head for this head, and that's so tricky to do. And they have these they're kind of like, I don't know what you would call them, but they come up to a point and they are in there when an animator is moving the object, so they're not like, it's the frame of reference, I guess you could call it, so that they're not moving them drastically throughout that, and then they take them out, do the shot, put them back in, move them on that marker, like, and it's not as easy as like I could sit here and animate him for like 20 minutes and like he mimic the way he's moving or whatever. But like on a lot of those things, they have tracks like on the set, like of the big model that they're using. Like, okay, he's got to go here, then he's got to go here, then he's got to go here. Like that all has to be mapped out and thought out and pre-visualized, probably via animatic, to make that process as smooth as possible and make sure that the shot, because it ain't like setting up the frame and going, hey, Bobby De Niro, move to the left a little bit. Like, this is, no, you fuck this up. Like, you got to start again. It's a hell of a lot more, and I have a hell of a lot more respect for this art form than a lot of other, not that I don't respect other directors and filmmakers, but this shit is difficult.
So one question I have, because I don't know anything about this, what scale are the characters?
It all depends.
They are probably similar to size in this, or a little bit smaller. Okay. They're pretty close to this, I'd imagine.
Yeah, I think that Jack's model was probably about that tall.
Okay. When you were talking about it, I was like,
the original Kong armature stood, I think, I want to say probably 15, 16 inches tall. But that's an armature, and most of these characters,
an entire miniature set.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah, so like it's an armature, it's a metal armature that has to be like, take our lighting fixtures, for example. There's a little like ball joint on a rotating piece that can move, so we can move the lighting to wherever. It's all of those joints are built that way, so you can move it in whatever direction you want. Then it's put into a mold for the rubber, like the foam rubber that goes around it, to sculpt, to give it all of its fingers and everything.
Right.
And then you put fur and stuff on that, or whatever your character model is. But eventually that foam rubber deteriorates away and you're still just left with the armature, which is what the original Kong one is still, just its metal armature. It's rusted and everything. But it's a process to do that, to make the characters and everything. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. I think one of the best examples of like how good the animation is the scene whenever Jack is in the pumpkin like skeleton or a scarecrow, and then he catches on fire and transforms into like Jack as we see him throughout the rest of the film.
Right.
Like that was awesome. Just like you see the flame like licking up and like crawling all over him, and then he just like it burns away.
He jumps into the
he jumps into the fountain and then arises as Jack. Which is funny that they call him the Pumpkin King when he's a skeleton.
He's king of the pumpkin patch.
He's king of the pumpkin patch. He wears a pumpkin head in one scene, so
yeah,
he's the Pumpkin King.
He's the Pumpkin King now.
I like how the boogeyman is like the opposite of him. Like he's trying to like vie for power. At least that's how I interpreted the movie. Was trying to kill Santa Claus and everything. He's like, well, Jack's out of the picture, so now I can be king of Halloween Town or whatever. And then they just beat him pretty handedly, squash him like a bug.
Yeah, it was kind of. Well, and then you brought it up too, the ending, where Jack and Sally are up on the like it snows in Halloween.
Yeah,
Town,
Santa Claus brings
brings
Christmas to them.
Snow with them. Brings an ice age to kill them. Probably to kill them all off. It's probably just a guise. He's like, I'm not letting you come back and try to ruin holidays ever again.
Bitches.
You're all gonna freeze to death now.
Their houses probably aren't, winter ready.
But you brought up the point, like whenever the credits started rolling, you're like, no falling action?
No, that was in Corpse Bride.
Oh, I thought you said it for Nightmare Before
No.
Christmas. I was like, well, there's like none in either movie.
Well, they have the falling. So Santa Claus comes back, saves the day, and then
Jack actually falling out of the sky is the falling.
And then we have Jack and Sally getting together, and I think that's the end of the movie. Is them?
That's literally the end of the movie. Yeah.
So I mean, you have a little bit there. I think the climax of the movie is whenever he saves Santa Claus, and then Santa Claus saves Christmas. And then the falling action would just be the town being like, we're going to get ready for Halloween next year. And then Sally and Jack. But, like, we can get to it whenever we talk about Corpse Bride. But, yeah, I'll explain the falling action of that, how it's non-existent. But, so it's funny that you say that he's going to kill them with the winter. They say... In the one scene, they're like, oh, we have no idea what this is. And I was like, buddy, I wish I knew what a Halloween without snow looked like. Because we've had plenty of Halloweens where we live where there's snow on the ground. Which is not great. Not looking forward to that.
Yeah, it definitely sucks when you...
Not great for Halloween.
No. Yeah, it's either terribly rainy and cold or there's snow.
Yeah, it's almost always cold, at least.
There have been warm Halloweens here, but it is
few and far between.
Right.
I don't know. Is there much else to say about it? Danny Elfman singing, great.
Danny Elfman and Susan Sarandon's husband, brother. I don't know. Chris Sarandon. He is related to Susan Sarandon somehow. I don't remember how.
I don't know.
Yeah, we got the guy who plays Ortho in Beetlejuice is the mayor. Catherine O'Hara. That's about it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Nobody else of honorable mention. Pee Wee Herman.
Pee Wee Herman was in it. He voiced all the kids.
Shock.
Okay.
Yeah.
Or
Locke.
Yeah.
Because Shock was the girl.
Yes. And Beryl was the
skeleton-looking one.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I think
we have anything else to add?
That's all I got.
All right. I guess we can rate it. I'll let you guys go first because I have to think on it.
Oh, okay. I'm still thinking too.
Do you want me to go?
Sure.
6.
Okay.
100. No. 6. It's a fine movie.
Yeah.
Like I said, I appreciate all the work that went into it. I don't know. This movie just never hit me like it hits a lot of people for some reason, and it's fine. I will watch it. I don't have a problem with watching it. There are aspects that I really enjoy about it. I like the character designs and everything, but it's just there. I'll watch it, but it's not something that I go, ooh, time to watch Nightmare Before Christmas.
Yeah,
and
you haven't based your entire personality around the movie.
No, I don't have I don't have a tattoo of Jack Skellington.
As some people are liken to do?
Yeah, I know a couple.
Mm-hmm.
So don't come at me with pitchforks. No, I'm gonna second your 6. It's a fine movie. This is a movie where I waited. What'd you say?
28 years.
28 years.
Only to be disappointed.
I mean, it was just fine. Like, I don't hate it. Turns out I don't hate it. I always kind of hated the hype around it, you know.
I said to Shawn, there is a stigma that comes with it that kind of sours it for people, which is understandable.
Yeah, so just a fine movie. I'd watch it again, you know.
Yeah. No. Like I said, I would watch it. If somebody puts it on, I'm not going to not watch it.
Right.
It's not something that I would seek out to watch.
So I don't know if I ever told you guys the story. I'd never seen A Christmas Story for 27 years of my life.
Also, good movie.
No.
I fucking hate that movie.
I hate you both. If I had a mic, I'd just take it off, get up, and walk out.
So yeah, this turned out. This turned out to not be that situation. I generally was okay with the movie. So,
I'm gonna give it higher because I really like the music. Like I said, this is the first time I've watched the movie in full. I think.
Oh, okay.
I think Mike and I considered the music too.
Yeah.
We just.
Well, the story's a little off, but I'll give it like an 8 out of 10 because I mean it's good. It's a good movie. I think the animation feed alone, the music is good. Like with the exception of the wonky lyrics from time to time, and aside from the story, which is a little strange to me, I think it's excellent. So, yeah, 8 out of 10 for me.
I think the stigma just got me and Aaron.
Yeah, I for some reason there are movies that I
many reasons
that have that for me, but for some reason I'm able to look past it on this one just at the technical marvel that it is especially coming out 28 years ago.
It is technically a marvel.
Yeah. All right, let's move on to our second recommendation, which is in the same vein as this movie. Corpse Bride came out in 2005. Directed. This one is a Tim Burton movie.
Okay.
Spoilers for Corpse Bride. If you haven't seen it, we'll be talking about spoilers.
Good thing I watched it.
Yeah.
Good thing you messaged us.
Yeah. So the animation in this movie is obviously far superior, but that's also because it came out 10 to 15 years later.
So is the casting too.
Well, yeah, I guess.
I feel like this movie does better, in my opinion, or at least does better for me because of the casting. Because there's actually recognizable voice actors. Aside from like Catherine O'Hara in Nightmare Before Christmas, I had to Google everybody else. I didn't know who the hell. And aside from Danny Elfman singing, it's like, who the hell else is in this movie? But
I didn't even look at it, to be honest.
Like, and I'm not even a big Johnny Depp fan, but in 2005, Johnny Depp was going to draw a crowd to Corpse Bride.
Oh, he certainly also did that.
Yeah, because he was coming fresh off of Pirates of the Caribbean, which this is not a Disney property. This is a Warner Brothers property.
Yeah.
But he still was going to draw a crowd by playing a character in this movie.
Yeah.
So, obviously the plot for the movie is I'm not exactly sure the timeline. Victorian era, right. England. There's an arranged marriage between Johnny Depp's character, Victor, or is it Vincent?
Victor Van Dorp.
Victor, and a formerly wealthy family, Victoria. They are betrothed to be wed. And so that's how the movie opens, is they're arranging their marriage. They're having a rehearsal, and he is flubbing it horribly. And he runs out of town, and he, is reciting his vows because he wants to marry this girl because they shared a moment over the piano. And
one moment, and he's like, "Oh yeah, I'm sold."
Yeah, but he wants to get married for the sake of his family and his reputation and everything. And he's reciting his vows. He places the ring on a twig that resembles a hand, and he gets sucked into the underworld, essentially, by a bride that was waiting for however many years to be wed.
She comes up out of it and then takes him back down.
She grabs, she pulls him in.
No, because that's how the town crier saw him with her.
Oh.
Is because she came up out of the ground.
Yeah.
And like crawled like over to like because all her parts were coming back together, and then he saw him with her, and that's why he was like yelling.
I don't remember how he got there. Then did he just pass out and he took her there, or she took him there?
Yeah, because he slipped on the ice and like hit his head or something, and then she took him down there.
Yeah, but he gets taken to the afterlife.
But he's not actually dead, right?
No, he's not dead.
No.
Right.
And he needs to find a way back to the land of the living, and we follow the strange love triangle
Hilarity
thing that
ensues.
that happens because of that.
Yeah, so I watched these back to back. So this one might be spotty for me because it was just a lot to take in. So, generally, I did like this one. Maybe even more than Nightmare.
I definitely like it more than Nightmare.
Okay. I don't know if people will hate that comment or not, but
fuck them if they do.
But I don't know. I was more drawn to the Corpse Bride, the character specifically. Like there was just more there than like I would say than Sally.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, because you actually feel more chemistry between the two stop motion characters in that movie than you do.
Well, yeah. I mean, the whole point of the movie is them interacting with each other, whereas in Nightmare Before Christmas, they
don't interact.
They interacted with each other twice before the
wasn't
finale.
a good comparison in my brain, but that's kind of how I looked at it. Like,
no,
she's like the main character. Mm-hmm. I would say Sally's a main character, so that's why I just kind of compared them. But
their plights are a little different too. Sally's just being held captive by her creator, and the Corpse Bride, Emily, literally has been killed, and she was, manipulated and backstabbed essentially, thinking that she was going to get married, but she was killed, and now she wants to be married. That's what her purpose is, I guess. She said she would haunt the world until she found a husband, which happened to be Victor, because he's a bumbling oof.
And proposed to a twig.
Yeah. Well, to be fair, he wasn't expecting that to come out of the ground.
No.
So you put a ring on a twig. You don't expect.
I don't fault him for that one. But yeah, their relationship blossoms as well. He manipulates her to bring him back to the land of the living, and she finds out that it's just so that he can get back there to let everybody know that he's still, in town. He didn't run off or anything.
Yeah.
And then she just takes him right back. Continue.
Well, let's just go through the rest of the plot then.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. So she takes him back there, and they're like, she wants him to actually marry her. So he overhears the discussion between her and the elder Gutnecht.
Yeah.
And he says that there is a way that he can do that, and he decides that is what he wants to do. He's going to sacrifice.
He only decides to do it after his driver, who dies, shows up, and and he tells him that Victoria's betrothed to Lord
Barkis.
Yeah, Lord Barkis,
played by Richard E. Grant.
Yeah, and he's like, oh well, she's gonna get married anyway. I might as well marry Emily instead. so he decides he's gonna do that, and then they decide they're having the wedding in the church that they were gonna get married at, and then Christopher Lee tries to ward them all off with a stick. I must say, this movie is a lot funnier than The Nightmare Before Christmas.
There's not a whole lot of comedy in The Nightmare Before Christmas.
Especially whenever all of the dead...
a cartoon.
Yeah. All of the dead are coming back, and they're going into the church, and they're like, and he's like, back, you evil, and he's like, you mind keeping it down? We're in a church. He's like, you're causing a ruckus. We're trying to have a gathering.
And then all the people who were in the underworld were people from that town.
Yeah.
As we see when they come back, like they
in the
reconnect with a bunch of people, like
I specifically remember that old lady like
beating the skeleton.
Yeah.
So they go to get married in the church, and who points out, or somebody figures out that Barkus was the one who was going to.
Well, he interrupts because their wedding is crashed. Lord Barkus and Emily, they do get married. Obviously, till death do us part. You know, they're still married until one of them has died, because I guess divorces weren't a thing back then. But so the dead,
the Catholic Church's eyes.
Yeah, the dead crash the reception, I guess, and then Victoria finds out that Victor is going to marry Emily, so she goes over to the church to see that, and Lord Barkus follows her because he's like, "You're still married to me, even though her family is poor, destitute." And he was expecting a dowry of some money, and then he was going to kill her,
which is what he did to Emily.
Yeah, it's the exact same thing. And then she recognizes him, and he recognizes her, and
there's a big fight that happens between Lord Barkus and Victor
with a fork.
Oh yeah, he fights him with a fork while he has the sword, and then they end up conceding. And he lets him go, and then the chalice,
which I must say, this is the stupidest part of the movie.
Well, yeah, but so
it's so contrived.
So part of the sacrifice is Victor has to drink from the wine of ages, and he will die and join Emily in eternal
matrimony.
Yeah, so he is going to drink from that chalice. So after their fight, Lord Barkus picks up the chalice and is like a toast, because he didn't know about this, obviously. But he's like a toast to the bride and groom or whatever, and he drinks out of it and takes 2 steps away and just dies. He just turns blue like everyone else, but he just, of course, dies because he just drank it.
Yeah.
And then because they all try to charge him, and Elder Goodneck is like, nope. He's like, we have to abide by their rules. It's the land of the living. And then he dies, and then they're all like, nope, not anymore. And then he's like, yep, have at him. And then they go over and
new arrival. And they drag him to hell or whatever. Yeah. But so I'll get into the falling action conversation that I was having with you that we mentioned earlier. So Lord Barkus dies. Mm-hmm. They take him to hell. Mm-hmm. Emily is released from her pact or whatever because she. The reason that she is dead has been dealt with, so she is, free. She turns into butterflies and flies away, and Victor and Victoria watch it, and then the movie is over. Literally, the climax of the movie is Lord Barkus drinking the poison, and then not even 5 minutes later, the movie is over. There's zero falling action.
You could have had
a scene. You could have had a scene of Victor and Victoria getting married.
Maybe they didn't want to at that point.
They wanted to. Why else were they there?
I don't know. Maybe they both just decided they're like, "Hey, this is stupid."
No, it's clearly implied that they're going to get married, but it's just you could have had that as the falling action and resolution. It's literally climax.
That should have been that should have been the end. Sequence.
Emily releases herself.
Yeah, that happens.
Yeah, and then it could have transitioned to a scene of them getting married, and paying tribute to Emily.
Fucking butterfly could have came at the ceremony and landed on somebody.
Exactly. But instead, it's they watch her fly away, and then the movie fucking ends. It's just
maybe there's a post-credit scene like James and the Giant Peach.
I don't think
Maybe we should have watched.
Well, we didn't sit through, so we don't know.
No.
But I highly doubt that.
Maybe there is a wedding scene that we missed.
I don't think so.
Maybe it happened mid-credits. I don't know.
But that's this one part. So I feel the resolution of the Corpse Bride is just whoa, it just happens way too quickly. Whereas in Nightmare Before Christmas, I have some breathing room after the climax of the movie,
right?
Rather than just being the movie's over.
But I also do feel Nightmare just does kind of end.
Yeah, fair enough.
But
they both kind of do.
Yeah, they just kind of end.
Maybe it's hard to find a way to end a claymated movie.
I guess
They're just like, well, we can't just like animate all this shit. Just fuck it.
That's probably exactly what happened.
Good enough.
Is they're like, do you know how many butterflies we had to animate flying away? And he's like, yeah, you're right. Call it quits. Let's just print it.
That's fair. That's
they don't need to actually get married.
That can't be easy.
Yeah. Do you think that they like showed it to like studio heads and like some guy at Warner Brothers was like, but they don't get married at the end, and like some animator sitting there like is like, you want me to fucking animate another wedding? Yeah. He's like, yeah, you're right. Calm down. All right, we won't make you do it. No. All right, that's it.
Well, I don't know. That's just one problem I have with them.
Yeah.
So obviously, The Nightmare Before Christmas is a musical, but this movie isn't technically a musical. It has like 2 or 3 songs.
Yeah.
But
what constitutes a musical? How many songs?
Like forwarding the plot, I guess. I mean, it does that in this movie too, but like,
yeah, when
it's like highly, it's like comprised of like major plot points explained by the music or whatever. But it only has like 2 or 3 songs. I don't think you can. It has musical elements. It isn't a musical.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. It's funny that you mentioned you forgot all of the music from Nightmare Before Christmas.
Yeah.
I like forget all the music in this.
I don't remember it.
Like
I don't remember a single freaking note from this movie.
I remember it.
Like I remember the According to Plan, I think is the name, where the opening song, I don't remember what it sounds like, and then Bone Jangles singing his thing.
Danny Elfman.
Yeah, but I think there's one more song with Helena Bonham Carter sings, but I literally don't remember.
Does she sing a song?
I think so. I think it's after they get back from the land of the living.
I remember watching Nightmare
Hopscotch.
when we were watching Nightmare Before Christmas, and I was like, oh, they cut out Sally's song. And apparently I'd forgotten so much about that movie, I didn't know when her song actually came in. Turns out it's when Jack leaves to go deliver the presents with the skeletal reindeer. Then she sings her song. I was like, oh, I thought that happened way earlier.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's another. I think the music is better in The Nightmare Before Christmas. Not that we should be comparing the movies, but they're so alike. How can we not, really? Tim Burton.
Oh yeah, they're both Tim Burton movies.
Yeah, they're both Tim Burton movies, so we have
also, they're both scored by Danny Elfman.
And they're both animated.
So it's kind of like comparing John Williams' Empire Strikes Back score to John Williams' A New Hope score and being like, oh, which one's better? Like, it's kind of difficult to do that.
Danny was having an off day.
I don't think he had an off day with Corpse
I was joking. Calm down. I was just making a joke.
You son of a bitch.
I know we're not allowed to have fun.
It's not what the show's about.
No fun.
The show isn't about fun. It's about talking about movies. But I will say, I think that the plot and story of this movie is better than because it's easier to connect with Victor as a character, being like, oh, he's a moron, bumbling idiot. Well, he's not a moron, but he's a goof. You know, he's lame,
right?
And he's betrothed to this beautiful woman. And then they connect on some level at least. And then he gets dragged into hell. And he's like, I've got to get back to the land of the living. But then he connects with Emily because he's strung up with her for a good portion of the movie. So, you know, it's easier to connect with him than it is the king of Halloween. I'll say that much.
I was going to say, none of us are skeletal monarchs.
Yeah.
I'm not Slenderman.
So,
yeah. Clearly, Slenderman was based off of Jack's design.
Yeah, somebody put it like a silhouette of Jack Skellington and was like, "Hey, that's creepy. Let's make a character."
Yeah, exactly. And Emily's plight too. It's easier to connect to as a human than it is these monsters of Halloween Town.
Yeah.
So I'll say that much. I think the plot is more easily digested in Corpse Bride than Nightmare Before Christmas.
Agreed.
Yeah. I don't know what else to say about how this movie is just better animated. Like, even going back and watching it now, like The Nightmare Before Christmas, it's well animated, but it is a little bit more jumpy. And this one is, it's just much more smooth, as you had mentioned. But like I said, it did come out 10
Yeah.
Plus years after that. So
I don't know. I'd have to really sit down and watch them again and really think about it. But like,
not trying to take away from either of them.
Just aesthetically, to me, or visually, however you want to put it, I would lean more towards Nightmare, just because, like, I don't know, it's got that. Maybe it's just nostalgia in my brain overpowering it, because I know it's from like the 90s, so it's, you know.
I think I like the character designs in Corpse Bride better. I mean, these are more creative, but I don't know. I like the what's her last name? Van Dorn, where his wife is like humongous and he's like a potato.
That's Victoria Everglot. Is that their last name?
Yeah,
that's the Everglots.
Oh yeah, Everglots.
Yeah, because the dad played by Albert Finney is like the Why Though baby.
yeah, he's like a grotesque person.
Yeah, he's like a toad.
Yeah, he is like a toad. Yeah, he is exactly like he would be like what Kingpin is in. He's just like a rotund person,
except he's like 2 feet tall.
Yeah, and
that's another good joke. It's where he's like, if my great grandfather so and so is here, and he turns around and there's the skeletal version of him. And he's like, "Where you keep the spirits?"
Yeah,
like,
and it's just like the same voice too.
Yeah, it's just Albert Finney doing the same exact voice.
So it's a little confusing. So the basis of their marriage, is it that the Johnny Depp's family is like a wealthy fishing merchants?
Yeah,
they're
not
fishing
wealthy,
merchants,
but they're successful.
And so they want the marriage because they're like lordly and they would give them status. And
all they are is land rich. That's all they are.
And the Everglots want the marriage because they're broke and they want to marry into a family that has money. So I guess that's a little
How
bit
does
of the
that
confusion.
benefit the parents?
They ask the kids for money.
Yeah,
they're just like, "Hey, mom and dad."
I mean, I didn't know
kids
if it was
are
that simple.
Yeah,
I don't know.
The kids will take care of the parents whenever they get old and die, or you know.
Is that what happens? Maybe this ain't such a bad thing after all.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I think that's about all I have to say about it. I think that Johnny Depp is great. I know that there's a stigma behind Johnny
movie.
Yeah, there's a stigma behind Johnny Depp
and Tim Burton.
Yeah, and Tim Burton working together, akin to the same thing as the Nightmare Before Christmas. There's a bit of a stigma behind them, but Johnny Depp's a great actor. I think he's great in this role, especially whenever you compare it to like roles of like Jack Sparrow. It's like completely different, and he does a great job at being like this meek character.
Yeah, I think in general, I mean, like him or not,
showcase the side of him that
never
it's
really
not
been
typically
used.
Yeah.
I mean, just thinking about all his different characters, like
I think he's a
Willy
well-rounded actor. Is what I was gonna say.
Yeah, I think so too.
He's well-rounded, but there is a stigma.
Yeah, he's a hell of a guitar player.
I got nothing against him as an actor at all. It's just when somebody says, "Oh, Johnny Depp," I'm like,
he's a bit of a cringe human being. we'll put it lightly like that.
Like if somebody tells me Johnny Depp's one of my favorite actors, I'm like, is he?
I mean,
he's a good actor. Don't get me wrong.
I think it's more
your favorite.
I mean, most of those people probably don't even know what kind of person he is.
Yeah, my whole thing is like, if somebody says that, I'm like, you don't watch a lot of movies, do you?
I mean, Johnny Depp is a very talented actor.
No. I'm saying that. But it's like, when you say Johnny Depp is your favorite actor, do you only watch movies with Johnny Depp in it?
Maybe that's why he's...
I'm sure there's
probably
like
his own streaming service called Depp Plus that like you just watch every single one of his movies. Even where he makes cameos.
Like in 21 Jump Street.
It's gotta be on there.
Put it on there.
Yeah. Oh, he's in it. Throw it on. Anyway. Ratings?
7.5.
Yeah.
I'll agree. Well, I'll say, 7. 7 out of 10.
I was going to go 7.
All right.
Definitely, in my opinion, better than Nightmare Before Christmas.
Yeah.
Plot-wise. Story-wise, it's better. In my opinion.
I think it is better story-wise, too. I don't know. Maybe it is nostalgia for me, but I have this ranked higher than it by just a slim margin.
I mean, it's clearly more iconic.
Yeah.
Where Nightmare Before Christmas exceeds is its concept and world building.
Yeah.
Because the concept and the world of Nightmare Before Christmas is vast, and you can build upon that. That's something that you can continue to.
Which is why they haven't.
That's the thing. Why it's
it has potential.
It's more original.
Yeah.
Like, Corpse Bride is just Victorian era England. Like,
yeah,
true. With zombies.
With zombies, yeah. Which was right before zombies were popping off too. So kind of got it in in the scene there.
Surprised we didn't see a vampire over there.
It's an
Johnny Depp does play a vampire.
Oh yeah, he does, doesn't he? Another Tim Burton classic.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Scored by Danny Elfman.
I didn't know that was
with
his
Helena
movie.
Bonham Carter.
I'm seeing
I
a
don't know
trend
if
here.
Christopher Lee is in that one or not.
I don't think he is.
What
I
movie
don't
we're
remember
talking
the name
about?
of it actually.
Not What We Do in the Shadows. Dark Shadows.
Yeah, it's something with shadows.
It was a TV series in the 70s about a vampire living with a family, and then they did a remake with starring Johnny Depp.
Is it live action?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It was all right.
I never saw it.
Nothing to write home about.
Never heard of it.
We're not reviewing it.
Well,
funny you should say that. No.
That remains to be seen. Perfect segue.
Take the mic off.
So there we had it. We had a discussion about my recommendations. I hope we have another spooky recommendation coming from Mike. It'll be a week before Halloween. This episode will release. Your episode will release.
Okay. A, B, or C?
Oh, I'm not ready for this.
A and B are pretty much similar. I'll explain later, but C's the wild card if you need to know.
B.
Okay. So.
Wait, does he get to choose?
No,
now?
you spoke.
Nice. I don't know. There's no real outcome there. So I didn't wear the shirt for no reason, obviously. So I think we're gonna try something a little different. I think we're gonna watch the original Halloween, but also Rob Zombie's remake of Halloween, and
And depending whenever the episode comes out, Halloween Kills might be out by then.
Yeah.
So
it will be out by then.
So
I actually haven't seen the one before that yet.
I've never seen the original Halloween either. So.
Oh, okay.
I know Donald Pleasance is in it.
Yeah.
And it's a John Carpenter movie.
He plays
so.
Dr. Loomis.
Yeah.
I'm really surprised that you guys haven't seen it.
Yeah.
Well, now I'm really glad that I picked that version of.
This will be the third John Carpenter movie that we've talked about on the show.
I think so.
Third? Yeah. So yeah.
There we
Compare and contrast.
Or no, fourth. Didn't we do Escape from LA too?
Yeah, we did. Yeah, we
so
did.
This is the fourth John Carpenter movie.
Okay, guys. If you don't want to be spoiled for Halloween and Rob Zombie's Halloween, make sure to watch them before next time. We will be having spoiler discussions about them. Thank you for watching and listening to our discussion about The Nightmare Before Christmas and Corpse Bride. We sure enjoyed talking about it. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, all that fun stuff. Let us know what you thought, and we will see you next time. Yeah. What's this?